think we were thinking about it ever since the refugee crisis with Syria. Miko went to a church and heard somebody from JRS introduce the scheme, and I think he was wowed by it. And then we went to an open meeting at the JRS in Wapping and heard a bit about it, and also the children moving out, and that meant we had 1 or 2 rooms to spare.
Lots.
Lots, but quite unexpected. Yeah, we have 3 children, so it's a bit like the 4th child or a relative had come, and it was just a complete different package of experiences and input.
It's just it's such a privilege to, to have somebody around. Most people in life you meet for a short amount of time and you get a sort of general impression of things. But if somebody's actually there, then there's the possibility to have proper conversations and really learn things.
Yeah, and you don't spend that much time together, but when you do, it can be quiet. It could be the telly, or it could be washing up together. But sometimes it's my husband's sense of humor, which is quite good, and then they laughed and found us hilarious, which you never know what gets everybody.
For me, it's guest number 1, who came to us 6 months pregnant for the last trimester of her pregnancy, and her departure from our house was straight to the labour ward at the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. And the poor woman she was great to have around, and the cooking was fantastic. But she was under a lot of stress. She was very anxious for extremely understandable reasons.
But yeah, she really wanted to cook for us once.
Yeah, she's great. But for me, it was I had to take some of her stuff to the hospital in bags, and I showed up there, and there was a person that I almost didn't recognise with this massive smile on her face, just kind of hanging around in the corridor, whoa, hi and stuff. That was an amazing thing, after the 3 months of a lot of anxiety for her, and a lot of the time she was quite unwilling to talk. That was a big moment. That was great.
I thought he was going to talk about the food. Sorry.
Yeah, the food was fantastic. Yeah, I think in a general way, yes. I think it does. It's just sort of in the air and the water, isn't it? If you hang around the faith, then this kind of stuff comes along with it. Clearly, the link with the JRS comes ultimately from a faith thing.
Yeah, and I was very grateful that the JRS were basically doing a lot of the legwork by you being faith-inspired, community-inspired, having food banks or consultations or advice or whatever.
I mean, you guys at the JRS really do a good job. Fantastic support, wall-to-wall support, real Rolls-Royce service, definitely. So you do make it pretty easy for hosts, has to be said.
We were talking about it the other day, and you were saying it's a no-brainer. It takes people off the streets, it takes them off this sort of vast state thing.
No, I mean,
it makes us all meet each other.
Well, I mean, there's if your application is rejected, which happens to quite a few people who come into this country in this fashion, you literally do. Am I right? I mean, I'm right in thinking you literally step into an empty lift shaft. I mean, there's no support, there's no nothing, and you're totally reliant on institutions like the JRS. I mean, this is terrifying. I mean, even if you're not responsible for anybody else, this is absolutely terrifying, and you're in a completely alien culture. That if you have somewhere that you can call home, and that you've got shelter there, you're going to be warm, and you've got some food. I mean, it's got to be a help. One of the things that we learned very quickly was that the guests who come in have been through some really tough experiences, and I personally would have been, I think, too traumatized to function, basically, if I'd gone through what they'd gone through. But given that they have come through it, they've developed incredible resilience. I mean, massive self-reliance. You know, these are guys who can, you know, can really look after themselves and who can come through some tough spots. But even so, you know, I think they're in a pretty terrifying situation.